Check 1 2, check 1 2. Hi, my name is Jacob and welcome to another episode of Raw and Uncut on the Abrasive Conversation platform. In this episode today, I would like to continue the conversation of the past 3 weeks, and that is with regards to the Government of National Unity. This episode is recorded before the President's announcement of the new cabinet and the Deputy President. So currently, the DA is requesting 12 ministerial positions plus the Deputy President. I've seen online some really good commentary, and I even saw the letter that was circulated. And that letter, Gayton McKenzie circulated, and someone sent me that letter. And in that letter, the DA made their intentions clear. So I have 3 questions with regards to that whole conversation that is currently happening with regards to the new cabinet. So my first question I have here is, for the ordinary South African or citizen, what is currently happening here? And I would say these 12 positions that the DA wants, plus the Deputy President's position, is just an age-old negotiation tactic. Now, it works like this. When you are busy with negotiations, you go for more, because you know if you go for less, then you will even get lesser. So in negotiations, you aim high, higher than ridiculously high, so that you can get close to what you want. And this is exactly what the DA is currently doing. This doesn't mean that they necessarily want these positions, but it will give them, put them in the conversations to get closely to what they want. Now, interestingly, in those ministerial positions that they put out, there was the Department of International Relations and Cooperation and Home Affairs. Now, this is important. The Department of International Relations and Home Affairs is South Africa's image and voice and channel to the world. And currently, South Africa have a case in front the International Criminal Court of Justice with regards to the Palestine-Israel case. So this might be an issue of contention, but I might return to that specific conversation in a later episode. The second ministry that was interesting is the Department of Home Affairs. This is a department that the Patriotic Alliance and Gayton McKenzie clearly said they wanted. So it's interesting that they included these 2 talking points or ministries that is going to have a lot of rejection, just so it can generate negotiation between the various parties. So I personally think that those 2 ministries were included there so it can create a trade-off on some other issues. So first question, I think this is a negotiation tactic. The second question is, what is the consequences of this particular thing? For me, the first consequence is that this is creating disarray and tension between the parties of the GNU. As you would know by now, that there is at least 10 parties currently in the GNU. Even the UDM recently abandoned the Progressive Caucus and joined the Government of National Unity. So clearly, they see there's something for them in the Government of National Unity more than what they can get from the Progressive Caucus or the Opposition Caucus. So the biggest consequence here is this might even delay the announcement of cabinet. And one of the things that I've seen is that the markets already started reacting because of that. So the markets is an indication that there is a restlessness on the economic front with regards to the appointment of the cabinet. But it would be interesting to see what our president is going to announce and who is going to be in the cabinet. Which brings me to a third question, and I think this is the most important question. And that question is, who has the final say when it comes to electing a cabinet and a deputy president? Now, before I answer that particular question, I would like to read a section or principle of the agreement between the parties of the Government of National Unities. So all parties agreed to respect the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the rule of law. So that's one of the most foundational principles of the Government of National Unity, which mean that every party who signs up to this particular agreement must respect this particular principle. And it's number one. We have to respect the Constitution, we need to respect the rights of people, and we have to respect the rule of law. Now, interestingly, what does the Constitution say when it comes to the appointment of cabinet positions and the deputy president? And I would like to read what the Constitution says. Section 91, subsection 1 says the following: the cabinet consists of the president as head of the cabinet, a deputy president, and ministers. Importantly, there is the president is the head of the cabinet. There's only one deputy, a deputy president, and then there's ministers. Section 91, subsection 2 say the following: the president appoints the deputy president and the ministers, assign their powers and functions, and may dismiss them. What this means is that the Constitution invests the power to elect a cabinet and the deputy president with the president. So it's not with an agreement or Government of National Unity. The prerogative of the cabinet and the deputy president, that power is given by the Constitution to the president. So here is the first implication for the Government of National Unity. So if President Cyril Ramaphosa goes ahead and elect a government that parties in the Government of National Unity doesn't agree to, would they still be in the Government of National Unity when all of them agreed on the following? All parties agree to respect the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the rule of law. So this particular one, if I am the president in this particular situation, I would elect the cabinet, because all parties already agree that they would respect the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the rule of law. So it means that they have to respect the president's decision, because that's a constitutional power. However, if you read the document of government, that agreement between the parties, there is something that they built in there in good faith. So if the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, go ahead and elect a cabinet and a deputy president that they think would help them, or which he likes, would that be in good faith? And I think in that situation it would not be in good faith. And if it's not in good faith, it gives parties all the right to walk out of the agreement and of the coalition, the Government of National Unity. Now, here's the important thing that my friend Tendo shared with me this morning. His concerns is, and I agree with him, is that in some provinces there's only 10 MECs, but when we get to national government, we have multiple, and we have twice or three times, we have three times that number when it comes to ministers. So the real danger that Tendo is pointing out here is that to accommodate 10 parties in the government of national unity, we might see once again a bloated cabinet to accommodate all 10 parties. Because the ANC internally is giving pressure to the president to appoint more ANC, but from the outside, the president is also getting more pressure to bring in other parties that signed up for the government of national unity. So the president is in a very sticky situation because it might lead to tensions within his party, and it will possibly lead to tensions within the government of national unity. So the only solution is to bloat the national government and try and accommodate everyone that have signed up for the government of national unity, to give them some space somewhere in this new government. And this is where Tendo's concern is. Isn't this contradicting exactly what the DA was standing for? The DA was saying that we don't want a bloated cabinet anymore, but if you request 12 positions, then it means the ANC must take 24, and then the remaining must each get a position somewhere. The government of national unity, in its initial phases, seems to be an expensive exercise for taxpayers like me and you. So that's just my view preliminarily, that this might affect us more than we think it will affect us when it comes to our pockets. So finally, I would like to wrap up this section reflecting on why is there so many powers in the president? And this is because after 1994, we opted for a parliamentary system with presidential characteristics, presidential system characteristics. What does it mean is that there is three political systems mainly: a semi-presidential system, then we have a parliamentary system, and then we have a presidential system. In a parliamentary system, power is centered in parliament. In a presidential system, power is centered in the president. And a semi-presidential system, power theoretically is split between parliament and the president. Now, in South Africa's case is that we clearly have a parliamentary system because the parliament elects the president. But thereafter, the president ceases to be a member of parliament and he becomes the head of the executive. And then a lot of power is invested in the president. With that much power invested in it, it is almost like he operates in a presidential system. So that's why we're saying that in South Africa we have a parliamentary system with characteristics of a presidential system. Some people might even say or make the case that South Africa might have a semi-presidential system. But I would stick with the parliamentary system only because Parliament elects the president. And Parliament can also not recall it, but they can put a vote of no confidence in the president and remove the president. So for me, in that sense, it's a parliamentary system. So that is why the president has so much power, and this is why he can appoint a cabinet, a deputy minister, and he can take a lot of make a lot of decisions in the influence of South Africa. So, what do you think is going to happen? Is President Cyril Ramaphosa going to listen to the DA, give them more positions? Is the cabinet going to get bigger? What is going to happen? Just to remind you that this episode is recorded before his announcement, so it will be interesting to see where it goes. But please join in the conversation, share your comments, share your view. In the coming episodes, I will reflect on your views. There are some very interesting comments already on some of the previous conversations that I have, and I will reflect and share my thoughts on them in upcoming episodes. But thank you once again for watching. My name is Jacob Cloete, and this was another episode of Uncut on the Abrasive Conversations platform. Thank you for watching. Until we see each other next time.